Has anyone seen Hailey Van Lith? I mean that when I say that. Like, Hailey Van Lith, everybody else has at least had some mention. KK Timpson, by the way, obviously, when it comes to the Unrivaled development pool, HVL and Emily Ensler are the two players that, like, absolutely nobody has seen. Nobody has seen her. Like, Ari McDonald was out for the season, and HVL didn't get a look in. Isaiah James has gotten a look in. She's gotten a look in. What's her name? Haley Jones has gotten a look in for like 2 different teams. Kiana Williams has gotten a look in. But Emily Ensler, Ami Hare got put in the 1v1 competition. I heard that she's literally at AU. I've heard, from what I've gathered, Ami Hare was at AU and they entered her when she wasn't even in Miami. They tried to put her. It's the reason why she dropped out. It seems like she wasn't even in Miami. That being said, like, Hailey Van Lith is literally it's just kind of non-existent. It's kind of non-existent, and I don't know. Like, I think HVL showed. It was one game. But that one game against the Connecticut Sun last year, I felt like HVL showed more in that one game than a lot of these young backup point guards have. I mean it when I say it. Like, they realistically should have, she should have played somewhere else. It doesn't have to be AU. It could have been overseas. Like, HVL could have went and played overseas. Like, she could have done something. But for me, I just feel like this is one of those situations where she's coming off a season where she's barely been in the league. I think she gets taken in the expansion draft. But, like, she's coming off a season where she was barely in the league and is now basically had an off season where she's not working on game reps. And for me, HVL doesn't have the luxury of not working on game reps. I don't think she has the luxury of saying, you know what, I'm okay with not playing that much. I'm okay with working out. I'm okay with sitting in Unrivaled, getting paid. I don't think she has done well enough to get away with that. I would have went to Europe. Because she's always talked about, you know, she needs to be a true point guard, whereas in college she's kind of this modern basketball scoring guard, and the Chicago Sky was a terrible fit for her. I think she goes to an expansion franchise and she has to go get buckets. If I were her, I would have tried to get over. I would have tried to get to a EuroLeague team. I would have tried to have been that kind of star guard, because you can see what level she's at then. Because HVL did not have a good rookie year. Didn't have a horrendous rookie year. Like, the way some people were talking about it was that it was absolutely horrendous. It wasn't a good rookie year. She didn't look like, in a redraft, she goes second round. She goes like maybe late second round in a redraft. That being said, like, there were still flashes, and you realistically don't you don't want to have a player have a short time in the league. And I think that the Unrivaled developmental pool is something that I don't think we see a player going into it next year. I'm going to be honest. I think it'll be really, really hard for Unrivaled, if they have that developmental pool, to attract players next year. Because if you remember last year, they were calling up players. And Tisha Hyden was just playing for random teams. They literally traded around about 5. Like, most teams only have 5 players. If the rule is I'm pretty sure you have to only have 4 players to get a developmental player. And that's only, and like, you may not even get a developmental player if you have 4 players. Sometimes teams don't want them. It should be a thing where you should be on a bench if a team doesn't have 6 players. Any player's injured, there should be a part-time replacement. They don't have to play them. But like, we've now seen a HVL who needed reps. Like, she needs reps. Like, if she's going to be a WNBA player, she's not going to be, like, you're not going to be a WNBA player based on high school hype. You're just not. You're not. That is irrelevant. Yes. Oh, HVL was, she made a Team USA over Caitlin Clark. Yes, HVL was ranked higher than Caitlin Clark on every single publication other than ESPN in high school. That doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter. HVL was expected to be a near lottery pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, and then she chose to go to LSU for God knows what reason. She ended up figuring it out when she went to TCU, getting herself back into the first round, and just happened to be drafted in the worst possible situation. The worst possible situation for her. And I mean this when I say this. She couldn't get a point guard spot over Rachel Banham. That's not good. That's not good. She was one of 2 point guards on the team. And still, she couldn't get any minutes. She was one of only 2 players in her position on the team. And she still could not get any minutes, which is, for me, that is concerning. That is an absolute concern if you're HVL. The Chicago Sky, I don't think the Chicago Sky are going to want to keep her. That being said, while I don't believe the Sky are going to want to keep her, I think that she's probably going to be taken in the expansion draft. My assumption would be that a team is going to take her and she's going to have a big enough role on the expansion team. Anyone who's being look at what the Valkyries did last year, that's not going to happen again. They what the Valkyries did was they drafted a bunch of super high, outside of Kayla Thornton. Everyone thought they were going to draft young players. They drafted a bunch of ready-made players who were already kind of at their peak in a Julie Vanlith, Kayla Thornton, who stepped up. They did really well in free agency. They convinced Janelle Salon to come over. They drafted really, really well. I thought in Justacia Site, but they let Justacia Site develop for one more year in Europe, and she's going to come back in as a starter this year. They did real well. They took the flyer on Cheyenne Sellers. Didn't work. It's fine. They took a flyer on Kiara Linskins. Didn't work out. That's fine because you can get rid of her and then a Meher comes in. They really well. They scouted overseas. They were smart. They picked up Tip Hayes, who was a good free agent. They got a lot of good culture players. What the Valks did was good. That's not going to happen in Portland, and it's not going to happen in Toronto. The same players, you might get higher tier players because there's going to be more unrestricted free agents if there's no core designation, but still, that is one of those things. But for me, I think HVL going completely missing in Unrivaled is concerning. I'd be extremely concerned if I'm a HVL fan because you have to play. She is a player who more so than anything coming into year 2 needs reps, and she's not getting reps because she's not playing. There is no rhyme or reason to HVL being in the developmental pool and Rachel Banham being in the 30. There's actually not. There's actually none whatsoever because I think HVL will be better. That being said, HVL hasn't even got a look in, so she might be garbage in these open runs, scrimmages against teams. I have no idea because it's a really concerning situation when it comes to Hailey Van Lith because we haven't seen or heard anything from Hailey Van Lith, even rumblings of Hailey Van Lith getting on the floor in Unrivaled. There's 4 games to go. She's probably not going to do it. So she's realistically in an off season where the thing she needed the most was reps, got none of them.